always say that. A round of applause. I need like a new phrase. In those moments, I would Google like, how hard is law school? Like, just Google it. Just regular, just.
You know how when you're like emotionally unstable, you like wonder if you should cut your own bangs?
Yes.
When I'm emotionally unstable, I wonder if I should apply to like 16 types of.
But Brenna, how hard does Google say business school is?
No, it's law school.
Law school. The answer is very hard, unfortunately. Hello and welcome to another episode of Backstage with Brenna. My name is Brenna and we are once again in quarantine. Today I'm interviewing two young alumni. Everyone, snaps from wherever you are for Zach Dammann and Annabel Ostrow.
Hello.
I am so happy to have you guys here. Do you think we could start by just going over when you graduated, what your majors, minors were, etc.?
I'm Annabel. I graduated in 2018, which is a really long time ago now. I majored in a weird self-designed hodgepodge of like StimSys and STS, mostly focusing on how media and technology interface, and I minored in TAPS.
Hi, I'm Zach. I also graduated in 2018 with a major in TAPS with a theater making concentration and also a minor in mechanical engineering.
Casual. Just Zach, Annabel, and I honestly go way back. I was just a wee freshman in Zach and Annabelle's production of the Laramie Project back in the day, and wow, what a journey it's been.
I'm getting really nervous about James Sherwood hearing it described as Zach and Annabelle's production of the Laramie Project.
Zach and Annabelle, you graduated in 2018. What have you done since then? What's been the journey to where you are now?
Yeah, so I, as you mentioned, graduated in 2018, and I was pretty sure that I was going to go work for William Morris Endeavor, which is one of the major agencies in Los Angeles. But at the same time, I was applying to the NBC Page program, which is an old school rotational program in New York and Los Angeles, and sort of weighing my options between the two. So in that summertime, I was tutoring, I was traveling, I was trying to decide what I was going to do come fall based on the Page program decision. And I wound up getting in and choosing to go to 30 Rock to do that year of rotation at NBC. And I made that choice mostly because I wanted to know what it would be like to work for a massive media conglomerate, to try to do creative work in that space. So I packed up and moved to New York and spent just over a year at NBC and doing 3 rotations, but I would say highlights included I went to the Tour de France and got to produce live television in the French Alps all summer and, you know, get hit by hail and almost hit by bikers and learn a lot about the crazy logistics of live TV in strange places, which is super exciting.
You should ask her about denting the company car.
You should not ask me about denting the company car. I did so well on that assignment. There was just one major mistake. And I also got to write and edit promos for one of their cable networks that went on TV. So that was
Wait, no way.
Immediately getting to do some creative labor that had outputs. And I also did really boring things.
I took a very different path than Annabelle. I mean, throughout Stanford and post-Stanford, have had many very different interests and no idea how I want to combine those into something that I enjoy. So I actually freelanced for about 1.5 years after graduating in a bunch of things. So I freelanced in, I guess, mostly photography, stage carpentry, a little bit of kind of stage hand, general PA stuff for film and theater. I was kind of all over the place. I got to work with our very own Danielle Cadigan, worked a bunch at the Tap Shop. I worked at Bing for a while, did a bunch of setup there, which was really exciting. Worked with Michael Ramser, did some work, lighting work for him, and kind of all over the Bay.
Taps royalty, honestly.
Oh yeah, all the fun Taps connections. So, pro tip: stay in contact with your Taps people. Eventually, about 1.5 years, I realized that I also the kind of person who really wants to work on a project for a long period of time and have something that's I'm dedicated to, and freelancing was really giving me that, because all my projects were short term, which was great for a while, but at some point I felt like I wanted a really big project. So I kind of re-kickstarted my job search. I'm now working doing marketing operations at a company in San Francisco. At Lattice, I can take a lot of the skills that I learned at Stanford, a lot of them specifically from theater, and actually use them for my job. Like, for example, I'm using a lot of the marketing skills that I learned in theater. Like when I was going to say auditioning, when I was attempting to be employed by Lattice, I would talk a lot
when
about
you auditioned for them.
When I auditioned for my company, I talked a lot about how I had never done specifically marketing before, but a lot of the skills in marketing, maybe all of them, I had done in some capacity through theater.
Transferable skills. We love to hear it.
Skills.
Annabel, so you said that you finished up with the PAGE program.
So I finished with the PAGE program in the middle of December 2019. I was trying to decide what was next. I was pretty sure that at this stage in my career, I didn't want to work for a corporation of the size of NBC, and the kind of creative work that I wanted to do just isn't best supported by an NBC type infrastructure, at least at this stage. And I'm a really big believer in just going where the steepest learning curve is. And I think I sort of had the opposite itch of Zach. I really wanted to be able to work on a project and have a finished thing and then move on. And that's part of what I love so much about theater is the inherent ephemerality is you do it and you make it great and then it never exists again. And that is something that I like really crave and miss. So
I agree.
I'm currently working for a strategy and innovation firm in the Bay Area, mostly doing projects around sustainability for major companies. So, a Fortune 500 company will come to us and say, we've articulated these 2030 sustainability goals and we don't know how to get there. Design pilots or create the best story around it. And that's a totally different challenge. The people are really smart. I'm learning a whole new set of skills. And I do think eventually I will go back to more independent and more traditionally creative work. My biggest what's next is I want to learn as much as I can at my job. I want to, at some point, have the opportunity to do independent self-designed projects that I think are great, and hopefully find funding somewhere for that type of project. And I want writing to be a big part of my everyday life. I think my mom would say that probably involves grad school of some kind.
Do you guys have any fun TAPS memories that you would like to share? I'm in a song.
So many. So my junior year, I got to work on Spring Awakening, which is one of my favorite shows. We were rehearsing the number Mirror Blue Night pretty late one evening in what was then the very new Robley Gym, what is now the slightly less new Robley Gym. And the choreography just wasn't coming together. Like it had totally been revamped and we clearly needed more time, but we'd sort of been like slated to finish it, as is always the case in a rehearsal process. And the fire alarm went off in the theater. So we all had to evacuate.
What?
But we evacuated like with things from the theater. Like for some reason we couldn't leave. The joke was that this had all been like a ploy by the staff to get this number down, because what we wound up doing was standing on like the patch of the dirt outside Robley Gym and rehearsing the choreography until the fire department came and told us that we could go back inside.
That's also totally a ploy. That's completely a ploy by the choreographers.
Yeah, like James had been running the smoke in the theater. Like there was something just not totally on the level happening.
Shops are the best. So go work in the shops. That's my tip of the day. I have many great memories of time spent in like constructing random things in the shop, and I've used a lot of those skills in everyday life.
You're really hammering home on the transferable skills.
What's like the most random thing that you built in the shop?
I built some transoms.
Excuse me?
Some transoms.
Could you define?
Yes. So imagine a door then imagine like the window above the door. That's a transom.
That's a transom.
And we were, and I was building some hanging transoms for, like basically they were like creating a space in between two rooms, but without being a wall. So,
yeah.
and it was just the transom, but not the wall.
What show is that for?
For Raisin.
Amazing. What's some advice that you would give to your college selves?
My advice would be to take advantage of faculty in your department, get to know them. They want to teach you. They want to, like, if you reach out to them and are open and willing to receive information and help them out, they're so very, very happy and like are looking for people who are engaged and excited, and take advantage of all the opportunities Stanford has to offer. Like I did a Chapeligi grant and took a bunch of photographs of my French relatives for a summer, and like where else in the world can you just get paid to go do a cool photography project in France? And go fountain hopping a lot.
Like be explorative, but trust your instincts. Don't force yourself to create a mold of your Stanford story that isn't necessarily one that you find the most compelling, but is instead the one that you think other people will find the most compelling. I would have taken more American studies classes because I think it's fascinating, instead of, taking stats classes because I thought that they were useful. Can I give one more piece of advice that I just thought of?
Yes, please do.
Just like get to know the older kids in the theater community and like use them as like resources and mentors and friends, and then like pay it forward to younger kids when you're older. Because Juliet Charnas, who was a senior when I was a freshman, was welcoming to me in so many more ways than one. She brought me to Kairos for wine and cheese like the second week I met her, and I was like a weird freshman who knew nothing about her or her friends because we were working on a show together. And she gave me the lay of the land for Stanford Theater and for life more broadly, and like taught me how to be an older kid in the Stanford community later. So like be friends with people who aren't your age, and then like be a good friend to younger people when you're older.
Also, don't eat at TAP every day.
Seriously, you two are so wonderful and inspiring, and it was just so great to hear from you. So thank you. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time to hashtag
Get Peered Vibes.
Guys.